You introvert?
I am.
I never would have guessed
I'm
that.
a massive introvert. And people always think I'm not, and I'm a massive introvert.
Well, you hide your introvertism very, very well.
I always have, and then people are always very surprised that I'm an introvert.
I know that was one of my questions, but now I'm not going to ask it because I don't know how you can surprise me more than that. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Moments with McClellan, our holiday edition, and we are here with a very good friend of mine who was our class president for the 118th Congress freshman class. Now he is the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee. One day will be the chair, Representative Robert Garcia.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for being with us.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New
Kwanzaa,
Year, Happy Kwanzaa.
And I got a birthday.
And a birthday, okay.
Yeah, so I love December. I love December. And so speaking of holidays, we're going to start right there with that. Do you have a favorite holiday tradition that you're looking forward to once we get out of here?
I do. I mean, I think for me, well, you know, particularly in like large like Latino families, Christmas Eve is really our most special day. Mm-hmm. And we actually always open our gifts on Christmas Eve, usually either at midnight or right before midnight. So my favorite holiday tradition is always the lead up to midnight on Christmas Eve, where family usually gathers together, there's great food, we have a very late dinner, and the kids are opening up their presents. That's probably my favorite holiday tradition, is just the anticipation of midnight, which is Christmas, which in our family, and almost I think every Latino family, is probably the biggest moment of the year.
Yeah, we're probably still wrapping presents at midnight. So I am definitely one of those last minute shoppers. My dad used to always go out shopping on Christmas Eve, and I was like, I'm not going to be that parent. And
here we are.
It never fails. Yeah. It never fails. So what is the number one thing on your gift list this year?
The Epstein files? No. No,
I mean,
no. Honestly, I think the number one, you get to a point, obviously, where you feel like you have what you need. So I do feel like I have what I need. Mm-hmm. I am hoping, and I think I'm gonna get my number one request was the latest iPhone watch. And so so I think that'll probably be my one gift from my family. So I look forward to it. You know, keep track of my steps and everything else.
That's important here.
Yeah, and so I think iPhone watch is what I want more than anything else. But I honestly have it, what I need. I'm a massive gift giver.
Okay.
So I probably over give to the kids.
What's the gift you're the most proud of that you've given?
Most proud of gift is. I think for me, the thing I'm most proud of is, my mom passed away, so she's not with us anymore. But being able to give things to my mom that she thought that she'd never be able to have, like designer purse or a perfume she wanted. Mm-hmm. So I think being able to give to my mom things that she thought she'd never have access to. Mm-hmm. We grew up pretty poor. I think probably it's like the best gifts I've given.
So speaking of your mom, when you were sworn into office, you had the U.S. Constitution, a picture of your parents, and an original Action Comics #1. So tell us the significance of each of those.
Yeah, obviously you're allowed to bring in kind of items for your swearing in, for your ceremonial swearing in Congress, and so for me those were important. Both my mom and stepdad passed away during the pandemic, to COVID, and so having them there, she was always a very strong supporter of mine. Mm-hmm. Was important, and he was an amazing supporter. The comic book for me is, I grew up kind of reading and learning English. I'm an immigrant. Reading comics, and it kind of was a big part of my childhood. My family would take me to the local comic shop, buy comics. I really learned how to accelerate my learning and reading as a kid, and I really identified with the character of Superman, who, that comic, he's taken on powerful interests, Wall Street fat cats, powerful CEOs, standing up for truth and justice, strange visitor from another planet. I mean, it's very much an immigrant story.
Yeah.
And then the Constitution, I swore an oath to the Constitution. I became a U.S. citizen in my early 20s. I spent a lot of my life undocumented, and so it means a lot to me. and it was an important opportunity for me to go back and revisit that moment where I swore an oath to our Constitution as a citizen, and want to do it again when I was getting sworn into Congress.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So before you came to Congress, representing California's 42nd district, you were the mayor of Long Beach. What was the biggest surprise to you coming from an executive office, local government office, to Congress?
So the biggest thing, I was mayor for 8 years, and so I love my city. I obviously live there still. Great opportunity to serve the community. I think the hardest thing for me was I'd never been in the legislature. Mm-hmm. So I've never been a legislator, and even simple things like giving floor speeches or writing bills or being involved in the legislative process, I had no idea how that worked.
Yeah.
And I was just not used to it. And so, just that the cadence, I found that the members that that had served in state legislators, which was a lot of members are from the state, they adjust, I think, faster to Congress because you're used to the process and how it works. I had no idea. I was like, why aren't we voting on my bill? Or like, why do I have to give this a weird speech and let's not, where is everybody? Like, there's a lot of things that I wasn't.
That's different though for us.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of things that I'm just not used to, and after a while you get used to it. So that's I think the hardest transition for mayors. And I've talked to other mayors because in our caucus there's a good 7 or 8 mayors that were full-time kind of permanent mayors, and they all have that same kind of that difficulty.
I can tell sometimes with some of our colleagues, but I think for us, coming from a state legislature to Congress is kind of the difference between going from high school to college. Although sometimes lately I feel like maybe when we went back to middle school, like, I don't know, it's a little weird. So as I mentioned, you were elected by our freshman class to be our class president. Then you were elected to be the rep for the 5 terms and under. So you clearly came to Congress with you just exude leadership, and now you are. The chair, the ranking member will be chair. I'm going to call you Mr. Chairman. I know. You are the ranking member of the Oversight Committee, which is a very high-profile, busy committee. Sort of what has been, and you're ranking member in a very tumultuous year. Yeah. So, how do you handle that transition, and are you enjoying it?
Well, I am enjoying it for sure, and I actually am really enjoying. As hard as it is, I'm enjoying being in Congress. I think it's different, and I think the moment requires us to be so engaged, and I really do feel like our democracy is on the line, and so I feel like we're in the fight. I've always been the kind of person that wants to be in the fight. I'm not an observer. I want to be in the ring, like both taking the punches and giving the punches. And I think in all those opportunities, I've tried to use my executive experience to those roles. And I think that's something that's helped is, Long Beach is a city of 500,000 people. I share with folks, it's not that much smaller than the city of Atlanta. It's a big city. I was able to appoint and work with managers and directors and big team, 60, 200 employees, a great organization. So I feel like I was able to take those skills and apply them to Congress. And I was grateful that I've been given those opportunities, because the thing about, as you know, our class or members is everyone has incredible skills. So everyone is coming with like expertise in something, and I think oftentimes we as a caucus we have to figure out how do we best use like everyone's skills. And as it relates to oversight, I've always been a little bit of a scrapper, and so I think that helps in my role there.
Yeah. So oversight, it has a lot of viral moments, a lot of like, what was that moments? And this is gonna be a hard question because there's so many. What's the one moment that you think you will never forget that you were just like in the moment, like, did that really happen?
I mean, there's so many. There's so many. I think, and this is more difficult, but I think it's true. So the Oversight Committee on our side, we have some incredible like personalities and stars and people that are really out in front of our caucus, like really leading like a lot of efforts, communicating and so forth. and when you have a committee with folks like Maxwell Frost and Jasmine Crockett and Rokana and all of these folks, Summer Lee, that are really active and kind of taking the fight, and there's so many more. Giving everyone a chance to be themselves and be authentic, I think, is always a challenge on our side, right? We want to make sure everyone is in the game and in fighting, because you have folks with incredible expertise. Think of someone like Chantel Brown, who has like this incredible experience that she brings from back home. And as a senior member on our committee, you have someone like Kwesi Mfume, who knows more about the way the government works than a lot of folks in Congress, right? And so making sure that everyone has that opportunity on our side has been important. The shocking thing, though, is on the other side, they have Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, so they have very strong personalities on their side. And so the hardest thing for me has been to listen to some of the horrible things that sometimes are said about people and human beings, and and to attack folks that are testifying that are just there to provide information. That has been the hardest, most shocking thing to me about that committee. Because it's not dealing with like one of them, it's all of them on the committee. So I'm grateful that we, on our side, have people that are going to push back on that.
And it says a lot that you are able to, on our side, manage a lot of really big personalities into a really cohesive team. So it's actually pretty fun to watch. Outside of the Oversight Committee, though, what has been the craziest moment for you in 2025?
Oh man, outside the Oversight Committee, I think like outside the committee itself, like in general and in Congress, the craziest thing for me has been what happened recently with like Adelita.
Yes.
I was like, honestly, I take our job seriously. You do as well. I think we're, it's important to be like serious legislators here, and the idea that the speaker would not seat one of our members who had won. I'd gotten to know Adelita through her campaign. I built a relationship with her. She's obviously part of our Congressional Hispanic Caucus. And that was so surprising, that there's the blatant disrespect of a member. It's just the humanity of someone that had been elected by their constituents. To not seat them for that long, to me, is one of the worst things.
50 days at least.
I think it's one of the worst things Mike Johnson has done. And I think showed a lot about his character, and I think it's really unfortunate that he do that.
And I think, and particularly given her constituents who voted for her did not have a representative.
That's right.
During a government shutdown, during the longest government shutdown in American history, and I know how many calls my office was getting. I'm sure yours were too. And to have no representative who could even do the casework was just unconscionable. So I agree with you on that. Okay, so we are approaching the end of the Trump 2.0 administration's first year. I know we wish we were approaching the end of it altogether.
Yes.
It has been, I think, safe to say, very hard for a lot of people, this transition. I mean, when I looked at the calendar and 2025 began, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was like, oh, we're in trouble, WTF. But you keep a sense of humor, you seem very well grounded. So what has been your secret to just getting through a very difficult year?
I think I think it's been two things. I think one is I have an amazing support network back home. Like my family and friends are everything to me, and they've known me before I was in elected office in Congress, and so I try to force myself to spend downtime with friends and family on the couch, watching a TV show, going to the movies whenever I can. And I think that has given me the ability to then come back and take the flight and, every week back and forth. I go home every weekend. It's hard as a Californian. And then I think here is I have two great roommates that are also members of Congress. And I just was fortunate as a freshman.
Who was that?
My two roommates are Morgan McGarvey.
Yes.
And Greg Kassar.
Okay.
And so,
that's a fun house.
Yeah, it's a great house. And so we're all obviously in the same class. And I just happened to have connected with them, in that first week or two of orientation, and being able to have two, now I view as brothers, and who are experiencing the same thing that you are, but also trying to it helps. So we can, we share, we can come home, we can share ideas, we can provide support. I think those two things have been why I feel like I've been able to kind of keep my cool throughout the year.
Yeah. And speaking of your long flight, was it about 5 hours?
I mean, it's like 5+ hours, and then on the way back, it's like 5.5, 6 hours, depends. Yeah.
How do you pass the time on the flight?
I on the way, I do this, it's routine, but I on the way to DC, I do all of my editing, look at any speeches I have to give that week, committee hearing notes, question lines. I try to do as much work and editing as possible on the way here.
Okay.
On the way back, I try to do a little bit more relaxing. So, like maybe take a nap, maybe watch a TV show I need to catch up on. Maybe get caught up on anything on social media I may have missed. That's usually my routine.
That's smart. And then, how do you unwind after a long day on the Hill?
So it's funny, I'm very much, and people are always surprised, like I'm a homebody type. I really need to spend time at home to like recharge. And so I'm not usually like the person that goes from like reception to reception to reception. That's for me difficult.
You introvert?
I am.
I never would have guessed
I'm
that.
a massive introvert. And people always think I'm not, and I'm a massive introvert.
Wow.
And I love being, having alone time, and I need that to recharge. And actually being out, it takes a lot of energy for me. And so my favorite thing to do is like, if the day's over, of our household, I'm home the most. And I'm the one at home. I'm always the first one home. I like to be home, watch a television show, edit, but I really need that. For me, that's my recharge.
So that definitely surprises me. So, when for our viewers, for the freshman class, when he was our class president, he would organize dinners for our class, usually to meet important people in town or the different ambassadors. And so you hide your introvertism very, very well.
I always have, and then people are always very surprised that I'm an introvert.
I know that was one of my questions, but now I'm not going to ask it because I don't know how you can surprise me more than that. Okay, so you founded the Congressional Popular Arts Caucus in Congress, and tell us a little bit about why you did that.
So first, the popular arts, which some of the people ask, what is exactly that? The popular arts are basically, the economy that drives oftentimes movies, popular culture, comics or trade paperbacks, television, science fiction, fantasy, and there's popular arts conventions. The single largest popular arts convention in the country is like the San Diego Comic-Con, for example.
Yes.
And so there's a whole economy. And so exactly. So first and foremost, the popular arts are an economic powerhouse. And when you're thinking about production and movie companies, and in my home state, it's very important, but across the country, the popular arts are critical. And so I love the popular arts. I believe that the jobs it provides, the kind of creativity it provides, the United States is the biggest exporter of the popular arts in the world, and we always have been. And so there was just never a focus or a caucus that kind of focused on that part of the economy, which is really important. And my interest in comics and everything else kind of aligned. And so we're a great caucus. We've done movie premieres. We have supported conventions, and people don't realize, for example, like the San Diego Comic-Con, it's the single largest event that happens in the city of San Diego. I have. I've been going since long before I was in Congress.
Okay.
And so the economy and the economic impact that convention and the popular arts make on the city of San Diego, on the small businesses, the restaurants, the hotels, is enormous. And so I try to promote the popular arts whenever possible and create a platform for people to support artists. There's a lot of concerns about the dangers of AI on the popular arts.
Oh, yeah.
And so these are important issues. We do an annual free comic book day on the Hill. We've now done it a couple of years in a row. And it's an opportunity for congressional members, staff, visitors to pick up free comics. And comics are a way to get folks to read. It's often, for young people, it's often an avenue to either art or into being better read. And I think that for me, it was a gateway to, I think think about my education and my interest in going to college or succeeding in school, and a lot of it was I read an enormous amount, but I read comics. And comics are also reading. And
Yes.
so I think, and it provides you an opportunity to look at art in a different way. And so that's why I'm so supportive.
That's really cool. We'll have to get you to come to, Richmond has GalaxyCon.
Yeah, I mean, there's,
And,
yeah.
Now, when you go to Comic-Con, do you ever cosplay?
No, I've never
Would
cosplayed.
you?
I probably would not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm too shy for that.
Well, so I do a huge Halloween party every year, and I have
That's
bought,
different.
I have
Halloween's
bought cosplay level costumes,
Okay.
but I don't know that I have the wherewithal to. I mean, it's pretty intimidating when you go to Comic-Con and you see people who really go all out. Like I don't know.
It's
that
amazing.
I could have
It's
that
amazing.
time. Yeah.
And there's some people that are professional cosplayers.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
And some people make a career out of it as well, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so now we're going to do lightning round.
Okay.
To get to know you a little bit better. A morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Okay, that doesn't surprise. Favorite food spot in your district?
I would say Open Sesame, which is a Lebanese restaurant. I love Lebanese, and food of that region is my favorite.
Favorite dish?
Either like a chicken tawouk or like a beef kebab plate. Yeah.
Favorite restaurant here in town, in DC?
Oh wow, that's hard. I mean, honestly, I wish DC had great Mexican food because it doesn't, unfortunately.
It's not.
Favorite place in town here, I go to Ama a lot, which is just down the street from the Capitol. It's I love the owners, and I think the food's great.
That's cool. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie of all time will probably have to be the original Superman with Christopher Reeve.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. Audio book, playlist, or podcast?
Man, that's changed a lot in my life. I mean, now I'm like on the podcast journey. I used to be, I used to be more of a music audiobook person, you know, if I'm walking. But now I'm just gaining a lot of great information from some really good podcasts. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts right now.
All right. How many cups of coffee do you average a day?
Average probably 2.
Oh,
That's not bad. I used to be way worse. I mean, I used to do 3 or 4. But I didn't start drinking coffee until I became mayor of the city.
Really?
Yeah, I spent like most of my 20s not drinking coffee, which is insane.
I used to. My dad was a huge coffee drinker.
Yeah.
And I would sneak sips of his coffee. I just love the taste. All right, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Sure.
Favorite superhero?
Superman.
Favorite villain?
Villain?
Yeah.
I like the anti-hero villain, so like someone like a Catwoman that
Okay.
can also be like good sometimes.
I know the answer to this one too, but DC or Marvel?
DC.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
That one's really hard. Oh man, I mean,
For me too.
yeah, that's really
You can
hard.
say both.
I mean, both. I love both, and I think for Star Trek is much more. I think Star Trek and like the values of Star Trek, I appeal to me more. There's, you know, it's really like a more. I think it's a smarter show. I mean, I love both. I would have to say if I had to pick, I'd probably have to say like Star Wars for entertainment value, but I think I get more out of Star Trek personally.
So what Star Trek character do you most identify with?
I mean, that's a tough one too. I mean, my favorite Star Trek character is probably Jean-Luc Picard from the next, you know, the captain. It's probably my favorite character.
Okay, okay.
How about you?
Well, so it's funny. Spock.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So my nickname, growing up, I had a friend, my best friend. I would go to her house, and her brother and sister and I would always watch Star Trek. And for some reason, they called me Bones, but they were like, "You're really Spock."
Yeah.
So I think that's right.
That's great, and I've like been pretty obsessive about watching I mean, I've seen every Star Trek TV show, like even the current ones, which
Yeah.
some people don't like. I kind of liked everything.
It's a lot of them, but
A lot of them,
yeah.
yeah.
And my kids are now starting to
that's great.
get into them, so that's pretty cool. All right, so we get to the end of the year, we start thinking about what's next. What are your New Year's resolutions?
Gosh, I mean, I feel like they're the same every year. I mean, one is just to stay healthy.
That's a good one.
I think that's the most important, like mind and body. For me, that's like been super important since I got to Congress. It's like the only way to get by. I think that's probably at the top of the list. And then the second is to strengthen. There's 3 or 4 relationships that I have that are already good, and I want to even make them even better.
Yeah.
Just with different people in my family or folks. Just strengthening those relationships and just being healthy, I think, are the most important things for me personally. Of course, broadly, I want us to save our country.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we will.
Yeah,
we will.
I think so.
And so when we do that, and when you retire from Congress, what do you want your legacy to be?
When I retire from Congress, I hope that my legacy was that immigrants have a lot to contribute, and that they can see the work that I, as one of millions of other immigrants, can contribute to this country. And then when you give a kid a shot at citizenship, they can do a lot of good for the country that they're proud to be a part of.
Well, I'm very proud to be serving with you and wish you happy holidays, happy new year. Can't wait to see you back in January.
Thank you. You too.
Take care. Thank you all for joining us, and happy holidays to you. Happy New Year. We will see you back in January. But in the meantime, let us know in the comments below, who do you want to see on Moments with McClellan in 2026?